Dudes to Dads, brought to you by Dad University, is a podcast to help men understand and navigate the transition of being a single dude into a family man. How do we make sense of it all? Well, we probably won't be able to, but let's go ahead and have some fun trying. And we are back.
We are back.
I'm Jason Kreidman.
I'm Alan Bush.
And this is Dudes to Dads. Dads. How are you, Alan?
I'm good, thank you. How about yourself?
I am doing excellent. We are on episode 158.
158.
How to identify and nurture your child's talents.
Cool.
Do you know what that means?
Yes, if they have talent, nurture it. No, what is it specifically? I mean, like, what
that's
kind
it.
of talent?
End of show. We're done.
What kind of talents? Are you thinking of like any kind of talent? Mathematical talent?
Any kind of talent that kid has.
Yeah, right.
He might be the nicest person in the world. That's a talent.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
How do you nurture that? Keep being nice.
Right.
I'm already good at it.
So we focus a lot of our attention, meaning everybody, on things that we are not very good at. So we have a tendency, at least in our country and culture or whatever, to try to, call it the self-improvement movement, anything.
I like that rhyme.
That was pretty good.
That's a pretty good rhyme.
Poet, and I don't even know it. Self-improvement is really about, improving the areas where you're not very good.
Right.
Now, it seems that it would be a little bit more fruitful if we focused on what is good.
Yeah, that's kind of a Gary Vee thing.
Because we all have more.
Doesn't Gary Vee say that?
Totally.
Double down on your strengths,
yes.
type of thing. Triple down on your strengths.
Yeah. And so focus on the things we're good at. And so if you put all your effort on the areas where we're talented, we might have something going there.
Right. Yeah.
There might be something to offer. So how do you do this with your children? And that's part of the game. Or how do you help them figure this out?
Right.
So there are some ways that we can identify their talents and help with nurturing them. And so that's what we're going to talk about.
Okay.
Now, whether your child's, and you had asked, whether they're an amazing musician, an exceptional athlete, tremendously smart, or even just have parts of their personality that really shine, there's some things you can do. Mm-hmm. And that's a perfect example. I mean, I was joking, but it's true. Like, say your child is just really nice.
Yeah.
How can you utilize that? Mm-hmm. Think about that and identify like, wow, they really, or I said about my child is like, my son is really empathetic.
Yeah.
He really does care about how other people are feeling and like making sure they're okay. So like fostering that and really developing that. Most of the time we obviously think of sports or art or music or, something like that, like some sort of performance. And so that may be the majority of those situations, but we can talk broader than that and it'll apply. Yeah. So we're going to go over a couple of ways that you can do this, help them shine and do it. First, keep your dreams out of it.
Try not to live vicariously through your children.
Correct.
Which that's hard for a lot of people.
Just because you were a star football player doesn't mean your child's going to have the same talent.
Sure.
And it also doesn't mean that you should push it on them.
Sure.
So, yes.
Would you say encouraging is okay?
Well, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
You just want to keep your hopes and dreams out of the situation.
Right.
You can't live vicariously through them, as you said.
Yeah.
So that's the first one. The second, watch and learn. So are you sending them to piano lessons every week and they're simply not getting it? Mm-hmm. Maybe it's not their thing.
Right.
Maybe they're not going to be a famous pianist.
Yeah.
But you might see maybe, your daughter, you're sending her to piano lessons and instead you're seeing her continually want to draw pictures. Mm-hmm. And she loves drawing pictures and she's actually pretty good at it.
Yep.
Maybe art lessons would be a little bit more appropriate than wanting her to play the piano.
Sure.
And so what happens is we put our own biases in it because we say, well, we want them to be well-rounded and we want them to be able to do things and music is really important and whatever else stuff that you have in your head.
Right.
And you're putting your bias on it. Well, certainly for music, it's good to learn it. But at the same time, if they're not that good at it and you've had 6 months of piano lessons and they still can't play Mary Had a Little Lamb, might want to reconsider it. I can, by the way. That's the only song I can play.
Oh, really?
Yeah. 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 3, 5, 5. Again, you want to focus. Also, you want to focus on the things that they are showing interest in and the things that they're potentially progressing in.
Sure.
But the things that they're putting the effort towards, and you can see that there's some improvement or, and even if there's not improvement, but they really like it.
They really enjoy it.
And that's a different, and that's a different thing too. I mean, we're really talking about if they're really talented,
right?
Enjoying something's a whole different ball game. Yeah. Let them enjoy it. If they love piano, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. And even if they're not going to be a concert pianist.
But even that can take up time that if they're not exploring other things.
Right.
So that's where you got to kind of look at it and balance it.
There is a little weird balance there because you do want them. Like, I'm a big fan of trying to learn music. I wish I was taught music earlier than I started doing it, because I have now a propensity for it and a knack and an ear for it, actually, because I taught myself some things. But had I been kind of more encouraged to do it earlier, I might have maybe got more into it earlier on and made music a lot sooner. So I think
had music classes and learned about composition or
theory
whatever
and all that other stuff.
All of it.
Yeah.
So that's something I think we just need to be mindful of. There's obviously a difference of something that they're interested in versus something that they're really good at.
Yeah.
Number 3, let them try numerous things. So if they don't like something, there's no need to keep them in it. Although some people, I think, would say, hey, well, you have to finish out the season, or you have to finish whatever you started to try to do that. And fine, whatever. But allow them to try different hobbies and sports and creative outlets, things with different interests, instead of thinking that they can't stick to one thing because they want to jump all over the place, even if it's them wanting to do it. Right. Kind of think in your mind that it's an exploration of finding their talents.
Sure. Yeah. That makes sense.
They may have talent in various areas. And so you're just going to want to give that time to try various things.
Yeah.
And when you focus on it differently, you might have a little bitter attitude about it.
Yeah.
Because I have seen that where it's like, well, my kid never sticks to anything. They just keep jumping from thing to thing. They're never really like, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's the same thing even with the job.
Yeah.
There's no harm. Like, if you're jumping from job to job,
yeah,
you can think of that as something. But if you're like kind of successful with it, or you're even like decent at it, but you're just not enjoying it, why keep doing it?
No, I mean, I'm a case in point when it comes to that, because I've talked about my job history, and I've literally had, before I got into the career of SEO, 10 jobs, man. And it was basically, I was a financial analyst. I was a sales. I did sales for a while. I was a loan officer. Prior to that, I was an executive coordinator. I've just done so many different types of things, and thankfully, that all led to really, getting into this industry.
Right.
And I feel like I was good at a few of them. I would say that I got promoted in every job I've had, but I just didn't want, and I stuck through. It just wasn't there. I stuck through, a few years. So thankfully, it wasn't like I jumped from.
But even 2
if you
months.
Did, no. But I'm saying, like, on a resume, it doesn't look so great when employers say, "Oh, you had this job for 2 months, and this job for 2 months, and this job for 2 months. What's going to be different?" Well, have a better job. But it did really. It gave me a versatile set of skills that I have then applied to the career I have now, which was kind of funny. I got hired based around the fact that he was like, well, you've done so many cool things before that. He didn't say it literally, but you've done so many different things that it could apply to this job. We'll teach you the rest.
That's cool.
And then all of a sudden that became
that's also, people are hiring by EQ and emotional intelligence now rather than their experience.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, you're trying numerous things, and they may not find something that, one, that interests them, but 2, that they're that talented with.
Right.
So, what if your child is just really good in school? Or they really care about animals and they have a knack for talking, like taking care of
Dr.
animals.
Dolittle.
But either of those, like those kinds of things, they could still be nurtured. You know, you could have them go to an animal shelter and help out with the animals. I mean, there's all kinds of things that, like, when you start really looking and focusing on what they are good at and they're interested in and the things that they like, it really is a different way of looking at it to say, hey, I'll support you with what it is that you're interested in.
Sure.
And it doesn't have, like I said, it doesn't have to be that they're the greatest athlete or musician or whatever.
Right.
There's going to be something that they're good at. They could just be really loving,
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to go there, but don't just love everything.
Yeah.
So then number 4, manage your expectations. Even if you kept your dreams out of the situation, you still may have expectations on how they should perform, or what they should be good at.
Yeah.
That you want them to be good at. Try to keep those expectations in check and just let them be. One of the phrases or the sayings that we've used here in the past is love the child you have, not the one you want.
Right.
So also be sure not to compare them to other children. Oh, well, Becky, da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
You got to be careful of that. So you just want to manage your expectations, put yourself in check.
Right.
And number 5, offer education. So if your child has an area that they excel in, or, in a talent, provide them learning opportunities.
Yeah.
So that could be through books, classes, or some other means. In the art example I give, like maybe there's art classes, to learn proper technique, of art. Like you talked about music, if you were to be able to go to a couple music classes or learn DJing or, whatever. If your child seems to be really good at a sport, even same thing. You can get them some good books about it. Maybe the history of the sport or techniques to improve their skills.
Right.
And finally, number 6, provide encouragement. So we often want to praise our child for their accomplishments.
Sure.
But we really don't need to praise them in that way. Instead of saying, I'm so proud of you for blah, 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 blah. You're so great at whatever. I'm so proud of you. You could say, you know what? You should really be proud of yourself for accomplishing blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
Yeah. We want the encouragement and the praise to come from within themselves, not us. We do not want them to look to us for affirmation.
Sure.
And if you look at, say professional athletes, Olympic level, anybody in the elite, and whether it's in music or in anything else, they got there because of a belief also in themselves.
Right. Yeah.
You have to.
I'm sure that helps to have, pat them on the back.
It does, and there's people that supported them or whatever, but they have to have an intrinsic sort of value that like, I'm really good at this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make this.
Yes.
Granted, people always have doubt. Some of the top, I remember, seeing interviews of people who are musicians and they had doubt that they could do something.
Yeah.
But they pushed through.
Yeah.
And they did it.
Yeah.
So that's it for this episode.
Yeah.
If anybody has any input, feedback, etc., Alan, what should they do?
They should email us, podcast@dudestodads.com, or hit us up on Twitter @dudesToDads, Facebook, dudesToDads.com, and YouTube, Dad University. There's also some great Dudes to Dads and a lot of great info on the Dad University from Jason. Also, please go to iTunes and or Stitcher and or other media outlets and leave some reviews. That would really help perpetuate the show. Leave 5 stars preferably. But
6.
Leave
Can I leave 6?
If there's a 6 stars feature, add it. There's a 5 plus 1 bonus star.
All right. Well, thank you, Alan.
Thank you.
And with that, we will see you next time.
See you next time.